Hello, and welcome to the Generative AI with Varun podcast. It's been 2 years since everything fundamentally changed since the launch of ChatGPT. In this podcast, we're going to help you make sense of it all. Generative AI is not just a trend, it is a revolution that is changing everything. There are major players involved in changing the industry dynamics when it comes to generative AI. So let's start by recapping what's actually happened in the past couple of years. Let's roll the tapes. All right, we're back in November 2022 and ChatGPT just launched. Think back to when you first experienced ChatGPT. It was magical, wasn't it? You could ask it anything and it would generate something that felt close to human. And initially, I realized that a lot of people were cynical about how good this technology would become. And we were surprised in very short order with GPT-4, then GPT-4o, and the hits just kept coming. And then, seemingly overnight, the competition started to heat up as well. You had Google coming out with Bard, which is now Gemini. You had Anthropic emerging on the scene with Claude. You had all of these different large language model players, including some really established entities like Meta, which introduced Llama, and now Amazon, who has Nova. And Microsoft was playing a strategic masterstroke all the way through their investment in OpenAI. They took a really smart approach by having an exclusive relationship with OpenAI in which they could use GPT for their solution Copilot. And then before you knew it, Agent Force emerged with Salesforce, and the AI wars have just been heating up day after day. So, in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to trace back to all of the different developments and help you make sense of everything that's happened and try to think about what's coming next. So, while large language models are breathtaking and some of the things that they can do are really, really compelling, what's really important to think about is the use cases. So it's not enough to just have a cool conversational AI that you can ask questions and it's going to generate something that is useful to you. It's important to think about what the enterprise use cases are going to look like. And this is where Agentic AI comes in. I think a lot of people initially were just blown away by how easy it was to have a co-pilot on your side. Now think about when everything starts to work on autopilot and you have these different agents doing different tasks for you. So instead of having coding assistants, you can actually assign different tasks to mini agents that can go and create different parts of the code for you, can help you create an entire project, and then you have an entire team of agents dedicated to boosting your productivity, whether you are an individual employee or an entire organization. Now, think about how agentic AI actually works. There's something in this known as reinforcement learning, where you actually are able to train AI based on rewards and penalties. So, an agent can learn from its environment, it can learn from different inputs, and through that, it is able to know how to act in the best possible way, either to get a reward or to avoid a penalty. And when you combine this with generative AI, the output is incredible because now you have something that can not only think for itself, but can also produce content along the way. And when you stitch it all together, you have actual workflow automation, which is the holy grail that we're looking for here. And so as we think about 2025 and beyond, that's what's going to happen. You're going to start to see more and more organizations leaning on agentic AI to create the next automated workflows to power their business. Now, whether you're talking about sales or support or marketing or operations, it's going to look very different. The level of lean in that you're going to get from different organizations is going to look different as well. Some of the most technology forward organizations are going to take the first step to lean into agents. And some of the more laggards or the mainstream organizations are going to take some time to figure out what's the best solution for them. And it's not just about enterprises, it's about thinking about at a personal human level, what is the value that AI brings to the table. There was a quote that I read recently. I want AI to do my dishes and laundry so that I can do my art, versus the other way around. And a lot of people are starting to feel that AI is taking over art. And that's not where we want it to go as well, right? Like there's the ethical element of attributing credit to actual artists. AI is getting trained on all sorts of video, all sorts of images and audio, and then it is then using that to create net new content. But what about the attribution of credit to all of these creators who made the work possible in the first place? And I think that's where it's really important to have an ethical conversation about AI as well. And so, while the answers may not be as clear right out the gate, I think AI is going to change everything for good, and we are just getting started. Now, with that said, let me dive in a little bit more into my background and why I created this podcast. So, 2 years ago, I started my YouTube channel, Generative AI with Varun. And since then, it has grown to 35,000 plus subscribers. I even launched a LinkedIn newsletter dedicated to generative AI content and have since become a LinkedIn top voice in the field. I am deeply immersed in the world of generative AI. I have an undergraduate degree in electrical engineering, which then led me to working in software as a developer. And then post MBA, I pivoted into product marketing and go to market strategy. And through a series of different career moves, I found myself at the epicenter of launching generative AI products. And I have been more thrilled than ever to be a part of a truly transformative revolution. And since then, I have actually taken on a master's in computer science to learn more about AI, which has helped me augment everything I already know and continue to dive deeper and deeper into this space where no one can really be an expert because something is changing every day. And so my goal through all of this has been to simplify AI one day at a time to make it easy for my listeners and the viewers of my channel to understand, to make it clear and concise and compelling for all of the subscribers of my LinkedIn newsletter. And this podcast is meant to then extend all of that and make the conversation more engaging and more insightful and bring in more guests who can actually deconstruct what is happening from the ground floor of AI to business leaders who are thinking about how they're going to implement AI in their day-to-day workflows to make their businesses successful and their customers and employees successful. And so my goal with all of this is to make sure that everybody who listens to this podcast can participate in the generative AI revolution, can feel like they know enough to be dangerous, can feel like they can contribute. Because this isn't just a revolution that should be limited to those who have access. It should be accessible to every single person who can benefit from it. And so, with that, I am really excited to share that I will be bringing on a number of guests from leaders like OpenAI, NVIDIA, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and others. And while some episodes might just have me deconstructing certain trends or topics, some episodes will dive into certain experiences that the guest might have had launching actual AI products so that you can learn and apply that in your own career. As we go through the process of launching more episodes, I would love your feedback because I want to make sure that this content is valuable to you. And before I wrap up, I want to leave you with a few key nuggets. ChatGPT hit 100 million users faster than any other application in history in under 3 months. Now, think about that for a second. If something can catch fire that quickly and hit that level of virality, what is really next in the generative AI revolution? Everything is moving so fast. If you think about the hype cycle, no one can really say if we're at the peak yet or not because things just keep growing and the stock market keeps rocketing and private valuations keep rocketing. And so I think instead of trying to gauge whether we're at the top or not, it's important to think about what role do you want to play within this revolution? What do you want to be able to tell your children or your grandkids that you did when the AI revolution happened? Thank you for tuning into Generative AI with Varun. There's a lot more to come, and I am so excited to share this journey with you. Cheers.